Golfers, don't miss the UNA Golf Multi-Vendor Demo Day happening this Saturday at Mulligan's Golf and Games. This is your chance to try out the new releases from all the major golf manufacturers and register to win free prizes. It's all happening this Saturday at Mulligan's Golf Courses. UNA Golf, unmatched service, unmatched expertise.
This morning sucks.
Why is that?
No Colin Chandler. I was looking forward to Colin Chandler. People say, well, Colin Chandler.
It's not exactly how that goes, but I see where you're headed
Now,
there.
BYU fans, we got an open mic. What do they do, Yak?
They go to the app.
KSL Sports app.
KSL Sports app.
Down lower left corner of it.
Down lower left-hand corner.
Okay.
Come on.
Hit the button.
Hit the button.
That little thing you can record up to 60 seconds audio.
How much does it suck that Mark Pope, a guy you cheered your heart out for just 2 weeks ago, is now taking Colin Chandler and taking him to Kentucky?
Did you guys see the tweet last night that said it was only 6 weeks?
I saw
since
that.
BYU
I was about to bring that up.
Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse. Yeah,
Mark Durant tweeted out, wow, how this things changed so fast.
Oh, yeah. And Sunday's the most important day of all of our preparation. Meanwhile, on Sunday, I'm holding a trophy in Rupp Arena. What are you laughing at?
You.
Sunday's the most important day. It's a day to reflect. I'm rich.
Let's reflect on you and what you said.
I'm going to reflect on $5.5 million annually.
He was already rich. Now he's richer.
Yeah. Now, by your standards,
What?
he's richer, sure.
He was already rich.
Yeah, but
And now he's
Paycheck is why I
richer.
live in Utah.
he... Yeah.
He was making a lot of money, and now he's making a lot more money.
Okay, now I'm really rich. Does that satisfy you?
I got a big TV.
Yeah. I should always back. When it comes to money, I back away.
You're the one who said it's funny about college basketball that everyone is so revved up in late February and early March. And then it all just comes to a crashing halt with the loss in the tournament. And that's all true, and certainly BYU fans felt that when the buzzer went off against Duquesne, a team they coulda, woulda, shoulda beat, but didn't.
Okay.
And then the coach leaves, and now the star recruit isn't coming, and multiple key players are in the transfer portal, 1 foot on one campus, one on another, waiting to find out who's the coach. Does he value me? Should I go over here because they value me here? Who's in charge? What am I doing? It's all turmoil. And I thought when Mark Durant tweeted that out yesterday, and said, wow, it was just 6 weeks ago, that they won in Kansas and everybody was on top of the world. And now look at it.
And you can't get any higher.
And I thought of you saying, that's the nature of college hoops. Every year people are super revved up, late February, early March, and then it all comes crashing down.
Yeah, this is a major stingation. BYU fans, how you hanging on? Where are you?
I'm in San Bernardino.
I'm in a Scipio.
I'm in a deep state of depression related to BYU basketball. That's where I am. These are major blows. Colin Chandler, he's out the door to Kentucky. Now you're already rooting against Pope. Now you got to root against Chandler. Hope he bricks every shot. Or hope he does okay but doesn't get a lot of time and then comes running back.
Nice. Bounce back.
Yeah.
Bring him on home.
Well, that's a possibility. Anything
Sure.
really is. So, don't close any doors, that's for sure. You never know what'll happen. A lot of these kids that have left have come back over the years. So you got an opportunity down the line. But this is a major blow. If I'm a BYU fan, I am sad right now. I'm furious that Pope leaves. And, and he just, a few weeks ago, he was preaching how the Sabbath was a glorious day, and that was contributing to a great deal of their success. And you don't think he's going to practice on Sunday at Kentucky?
I think we got our first clue when they held the big old rally on Sunday at Kentucky.
Yeah, I don't know that he was responsible, said, I got to have it on Sunday.
Everybody was to work on Monday.
And in order to get 18,000 people in there, you probably had to have it on the weekend.
Have to have it on a weekend, right?
Yeah.
All right, Yak, you already getting people sending in the open mic? You go to our app, use the open mic feature, and you can send us your hot takes. Sean, here's his take on the BYU men's basketball search.
Mark Pope and Colin Chandler are dead to me.
Short and sweet.
Yeah?
Unless Colin Chandler transfers back later.
Well, okay. Well, there's been somebody else. I'll just leave it at that.
It's called the resurrection.
Yeah. I didn't want to go there, but Yak can.
Yak.
I got close, but pulled back.
I'll jump over the shark.
Yeah. So there you go, man. Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all.
You're in or you're out. You're either a Cougar or you're not.
Right.
You move on. Good night.
These guys, yeah. And he's never even going to play a day for you. And now he's gone. Jeez, man. It's a major blow. No doubt about it.
We got the new poll question up. We had one up yesterday on who was the new coach going to be, and Chris Burgess had 60% of the vote, was pulling away. So we put the new one up because we didn't have Kevin Young in yesterday. Today we have him in. Burgess now with 50% of the vote. Kevin Young with 26.5%. Other 12 and Quincy Lewis 11. I left Barrett Perry out because he was in third place yesterday. He was behind Quincy and Burgess.
It's Peary, not Perry.
Peary, my bad.
Well, hey, I wouldn't sleep on Burgess either because guys have said no. I believe that the BYU administration went to Arizona yesterday to try to seal the deal.
And now Kevin Young's got to think, is this a good enough deal and a good enough opportunity that I can walk in there and tell the Suns right before the NBA playoffs, I'm out?
And I wonder if you're saying that, too, or you're also closing the door on becoming an NBA head coach.
Well, this is a guy, you mentioned he worked in the G League, D League. He's worked 15 years in the NBA at this point.
Right.
The comparisons to Alex Johnsen are pretty clear.
Yes.
Good coach.
Even more so than Alex.
Been on the pro track big time.
Yeah,
Hasn't
Alex
really
coached
been
in
on the college track.
Alex
He coached in college.
Longer
He
in
did
college.
do the St. Louis thing with Rick Majerus.
Kevin worked at Oxford College here in the States and one season at Utah Valley State, which is now UVU. That's all he's done in college.
Right. So he could be closing the door. I don't know. I mean, who knows? He's 42 years old. It doesn't seem like any door should be closed when you're 42 years old. But it could be real. And maybe he's comfortable with that. Maybe this is a head coaching job in the Big 12. I'm taking it.
It's a good job.
Yeah. Right.
There are people who would rather do college, or people who would rather do pro. What does he want to do?
Well, I know like Alex Johnsen, I don't think Alex wants any part of this transfer portal and all the nonsense and the NIL that has to go into it. If you're going to do that, just go at the pro level. You know, where you can – we heard Chip Kelly talking about he just wants to coach ball and he didn't want to do all this other stuff, so he's going to just be the coordinator at Ohio State. Well, at the pro level, that's essentially what you're doing. You're coaching ball. You know, you got to recruit maybe a little bit with free agency, but that you just, here's your cash. The green does the recruiting, and everybody knows, is that a good situation? Can I flourish? Matt Harpering, his college coach Kremen, said, go to Utah. I want you to go play for the Jazz and Jerry Sloan. So he said, okay. And it worked out for him, right? So you want the situation. You want the cash. You want the good situation. In the colleges, it's so much more than that.
And the thing is, if you're a coach and you really value listen, I know how to build you into a good player. I know the building blocks and what you have to go through. But it takes time. And at college, it's 1-year commitments, or in the case of the Louisville running back, now it's a 4-month commitment. And that would be frustrating to invest in a player and have him take off when you can see. And I think you were standing there. I mean, they don't want it out there on public. They waited until the microphones were off to share the story. But they're frustrated with players who they can see. You're on the path. You're going to get there. And they take off before they get there. I invested so much in you. If you don't want to be here, don't be here. And in the pros, certainly in the NBA, which is what we're talking about with these two guys, well, they signed their rookie deal, so they're going to be there, and you can work with them, and they can see the progress, and they're going to stay. But you don't get that guarantee in college. They take off.
Now more than ever.
Yep.
Because there's no penalty.
Nope. And we were sharing it earlier this morning. 4 months at Louisville for Penny Boone, running back who had 1,400 yards at Toledo. He transfers at the end of the season. At the end of spring ball, he leaves Louisville. That's got to be frustrating if you're a coach. Investing in people who just can't sit still and don't have the time to build something. They're on their way to the next thing.
Right, especially when you're
But if
you're 50 years old and you have perspective and you can cite 50 examples off the top of your head.
and somebody sees themselves as a third stringer, and they're like, dude, you're going to be the starter. You've got it. You're building. I can see it. Yeah. And they're gone, and you're like, okay.
I've had conversations with Dave Rose sitting down in his office about the new office at the new building about that very thing and how it frustrated him. And that was when guys then had to sit out. But they still did it unless they got a waiver. Now, they don't even have to worry about it. And these were guys that you look at what Dave Rose did. Dave Rose was excellent at developing players, provided they stay in a program. You can't develop them if they don't stay in a program. He developed guys. There's a slew of guys that I wouldn't be able to even name by the time they were juniors and seniors were significant contributors on really good teams. Teams that won NCAA games. And now they take off. So all that stuff Kevin Young has to weigh. And I have no idea what he is thinking as far as that goes. But I do believe that the administration went to Arizona yesterday with the intent of getting him to say yes. But if he doesn't, and they go with Chris Burgess or Barrett Peary, great. Bring it on. Away we go. Because who's to say either one of those guys, or if it were somebody else, couldn't just hit it out of the park? Because the stuff that Mark Pope had in his program to get them to be competitive and beat nationally ranked teams multiple times last year, the individuals may go away, but the structure of the program is still there. You're still going to get 17,000, 18,000 people there. You're going to get a great rowdy student section virtually every game. All that passion is still there, and it matters to kids. We talk about it. They're games. You're still playing in the Big 12. So there's a lot of stuff that is positive about the program that whoever gets the job can build off of. Today's a bad day in BYU basketball. This has been a bad week. I understand that. But it doesn't have to be permanent.
The roadmap is there. He left the roadmap behind on how to win, and everyone can see it.
Yeah. I mean,
recruits.
Dave Rose and Steve Cleveland had it too.
Yep. Well, they weren't playing in the Big 12. So people could see what they did.
No, but it was a good
then.
Basketball league that they played in.
It was.
Before
good.
They went to the West Coast.
It was good in the Mountain West, right?
Yeah.
But also that's ancient history to 17-year-old recruits.
Well, but it's better now. Yeah. So it's not like you need to talk about that day.
Nope. You can point to last year, and this is what you can do. Come to BYU and do this. I mean, if you even want to keep some of the offensive principles that were, a lot of people complimenting the Cougar offense and how it worked and how that guy got his easy buckets. I mean, it's all on film. You can copy that if you want. Go with your own stuff. Mix the two, depending on what players you have.
Right.
But you have to go get players. And the sooner they get to work, the better. And I don't think that – I get why you say it, though.
What?
The Kevin Young, if he takes his – I don't know that he's slamming the door on being an NBA coach in the future, but it definitely –
He may not be, but the NBA might.
It can definitely derail it, and the NBA can definitely look at you – and then we say the NBA like it's just one thing, right? There's 30 different clubs. But some of them may look at you differently. Some of them might still be interested, and some of you might be saying...
And they very well could be.
Right.
If he comes here and really kicks some booty, he has a lot of NBA contacts.
Right.
And so he didn't play in the NBA, but he's been in the NBA for a good long time now, to where if he takes the head coaching job here and in 5 years has won 3 NCAA tournament games or whatever and got a Sweet 16 appearance, that very well could get him back. So it's not like he's necessarily slamming the door shut.
But
it's just a possibility.
It is derailing. You're taking a different track there. Doesn't mean it can't loop back and get you to where you want to go, ultimately.
Well, if you do like Billy Donovan and win 2 NCAA titles.
Yeah, that'll get you there.
So, but I mean, if he's got the recommendation of Ainge, I think Ainge's voice in the NBA carries a lot of weight. It clearly carries a lot of weight at BYU. And so if he is, and guys he's worked for, Monty Williams, Frank Vogel, all those guys. So he's got contacts. He's got tons of relationships now. So maybe it's not that big of a risk, but you were a finalist. I heard he's a finalist for Charlotte and Brooklyn. And Brooklyn, they're going to go with Fernandez. You're not going to be a finalist next year. You're not going to be a finalist this year. You could be an NBA head coach this very year.
Could happen. You don't know. And
right.
so
But if you take BYU, it's not going to happen.
You're delaying / derailing that.
What is your dream?
Right.
I've never spoken a word to the guy.
Nope. Don't have any idea what he's thinking.
I may go down to Phoenix today.
You're just looking for an excuse to go to Phoenix. I mean, it's still April. It's a good time to go.
Right. It has nothing to do with Young. I go to
go to the pool for a few hours and then ride it off.
Scheduled to be there in 2 weeks. Might be something.
This needs to be resolved by then. He needs to be up here by then if he's the guy. Whoever's the guy needs to be here by then.
Yeah, but that's an interesting dilemma, though. Would he be here by then, even if he took the job?
Maybe he feels that loyalty and owes it to the Suns to stay there for however long their playoff run goes. It starts Saturday, is game 1 with Minnesota. First-round series are notoriously slow, but it could be over in a week and a half. Or they could win in advance, and it could go 2 weeks, and then another series is 2 more weeks. Right. Yeah, just winning one series turns it into a month.
Right. And the Suns went 3-0 against Minnesota this year.
If they have all their guys, their record's great.
Yeah, you never know about them.
Nope. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Britton Johnsen joins us next, former Utah basketball star, and he knows he's got a relationship with at least one, but I think as we're about to find out, knows a little more about some of the other candidates as well. We'll talk with Britton next. Stay with us.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
He is a columnist for ArizonaSports.com. He's also the co-host of a midday show on 98.7 FM in Phoenix. Dan Bickley, where's the community at on this? I mean, are they fighting to keep the Coyotes?
There's a small group of very, very loyal hockey fans who have stuck with this hockey franchise throughout a couple of decades of this. But you have to understand, this relocation game has been a part of this hockey team for almost 2 decades now, and people are tired of it. I think most casual sports fans in Arizona just want resolution. You would have to have lived this on a year-to-year basis to understand how exhausting all of this has been to the common fan. And while I think there was a point in time in our history as a sports market that being a big league sports town, having all 4 major professional sports was something of value, I don't know if that's any longer the case.
Hear Jake Scott and Ben Anderson every day from 10 to noon on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Don't miss your chance to win big every week on The Zone. This week on Win Ticket Wednesday, you can win a pair of tickets to see Blue October at Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater on August 24th. Listen to The Zone all day Wednesday for your chance to win. DJ and PK, it is time to welcome in Britton Johnsen, former Utah basketball star. Britton, good morning.
Good morning. What's up, man?
You're back, baby.
Former Utah star, but former radio star. Once used to do radio with DJ and PK, but never gets asked anymore.
Except you're being asked right now, so shut up. Oh, wait, don't shut up.
Tell
You're
me,
supposed to do interviews.
PK, tell me your ratings plummeted since not having me on anymore. They've had to.
Well,
There's no possible way you guys, no one listens to you anymore.
I pay to do this job. I don't get paid.
Last time I asked you to make a media appearance, you said no.
Hey, hold on a second. The best story ever happens to me this morning. I'm driving my 12-year-old to school, and I tell her I'm doing radio, and she says, "Are you doing radio with the guy that used to always scream in the mornings and sing songs?" That's her memory of you, PK, because I don't think that was DJ she was talking about.
I talk passionately, so sometimes the volume raises.
Yeah. Well, it is just wonderful to hear your voices, guys. It really is. I'm delighted to be here.
We wanted to talk to you about, what are the ins and outs of what makes a good cheerleader?
Oh, gosh. You mean, let's go that route. All I know is I finished my last cheerleading competition event in Phoenix, and my daughter said, "We're done. I'm good
sweet.
to be done." And I literally had an internal arena of people cheering on, where on the outside I kept it cool. I was like, "Are you sure that's what you want to do, sweetheart? Are you sure?"
On the inside.
I'm sorry, but children's cheerleading traveling competition, it is like the death of our society. It is honestly like the worst thing I've ever been a part of in my life.
Now, wait a minute. Let me pull up the Majerus stories. Let me check.
No,
worse than?
I would take another year with Majerus and have him be 100 pounds heavier and twice as mean than go and hang out with all these cheer parents. I'd rather have a Greyhound bus run me over, back up over me, than go and hang out and do this cheer thing. Sorry. If you guys just lost a few fans because of that, you didn't want those fans anyway. Trust me.
Shoot.
All right, let's get to the heart of the matter then, shall we? We thought there's a chance that you have, we're sure you've interacted with a candidate for the BYU coaching vacancy, and there's a chance that basketball being the small world that it is, that there's more than one candidate that you've interacted with or know something about. How deep is your knowledge of Chris Burgess, that's a given.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Well, the fun and extremely unique part of BYU is that your candidates get narrowed down real quick, don't they? I mean, the fact that I have people texting me, "Are you going for the job?" and I don't respond, "Well, you're a moron." I haven't been a coach, but they realize that you have to find an LDS player or an LDS, coach. I think it even has to be a very active LDS coach or something like that. I don't know what the parameters are, but nonetheless, I think the names get narrowed down real easily for everybody because of the dynamic of it. So I know of Chris, PK, you told me there was the name of the Phoenix Suns assistant coach.
Kevin Young.
Obviously Kevin Young. And then obviously Mark Madsen. I've talked with Chris, and Chris is keeping that. I think that's no surprise that option very entertained and open. And I think he wants to be a head coach. I personally don't want him to leave the U because we need him as a fan and as a former player there. And the guy is a phenomenal human being. He's a great coach. He's an awesome recruiter. You couldn't get a better person to go into somebody's living room or in their house and just make them feel confident that he would be taking care of them. So if BYU gets him, they're, in my opinion, they're getting the best that's out there.
I've interacted with Chris since he was 17 years old, right? So we're going back a long time. Yeah. And, I followed him from afar, and then I was working for the newspaper when he came back and played for Utah, and he had some humbling experiences. And I don't know how much that shaped him. You would know better because you're a better friend of his than I am. But I think that all these experiences has really made him to be a relatable guy. And so if he were to get this BYU job, I think he would do extremely well because he's somebody who's a relatable guy, and he's so easy to talk to. And if he gets in your living room, he's just going to blow you away. How much do you think of all these things that he's been around this world chasing this basketball has helped him become the person that he is?
Well, I think you're just spot on. I mean, he's gone through experiences where he's been the number one talked about player in the country in high school. I mean, you're talking about a McDonald's class of him and Lamar Odom and Tracy McGrady. I so badly wanted to throw my name in there. I wanted to say me and just throw that in there just for fun. Side note, and this is my ADD kicking in. Tyrone Lue, my teammate in the Orlando Magic, one time told all of us there was a party happening in New York and we'd all want to go. And he said, well, everyone was like, who's going to be there? He's like, Jay-Z, Beyonce, me. And everyone was like, wait, did you just say me? And Tyrone Lue was like, yeah, I guess I did. Anyway, okay, focus, PK. Back to my story. He was the number one guy talked about in the entire country. And everyone thought he was going to be the next Christian Laettner at Duke. Everyone thought he was going to be the next phenom, Duke star that goes to NBA and has a great NBA career. And he dealt with a lot of tough moments at Duke, transferred, had his father kind of talk him into transferring and come to Utah. And things didn't go well there because of injuries. And Majerus, as we all find out, was not always the easiest player to play for or coach to play for when you had injuries. But then he had himself a really successful pro career over in Europe, traveled all over the world, but had a lot of, with that success, had a lot of ups and downs. And the guy has been able to, throughout all of that, kind of maintain a really fun personality. Like when you're around him, we have a text thread between myself, Chris, my brother Jeff, Nick Jacobson, Trace Caton, and a couple of the former coaches that dealt with Majerus. And it's one of my family knows if I'm laughing my head off, I'm on that thread. When people see you laughing, they're like, yeah, let me guess, you're texting so-and-so. That's the one. He just has a ton of humor. And I remember when I played with him in college, he collected like Star Wars characters, like little, so he's just different. He can kind of connect with people in all different areas. He's an encyclopedia of sports and basketball. He just pays close attention to everything, and has a really fun side to him as well. So I think that, he just kind of covers all bases when it comes to being able to relate to people. If they're like, I know, and I just heard, that the Colin Chandler kid transferred to Kentucky, but I know that, when he would recruit Colin, he didn't even really talk about basketball. He found out what Colin was interested in. I think it was like the TV show The Office, and that's what they connected on. And Chris knew how to do that, and they laughed a ton. And then it was like, okay, and here's what I can do for you for basketball. So, man, BYU is going to get a phenomenal human being if he goes there. He's a great recruiter and an even better human. He's just a good guy, and that happens to really know the game of basketball as well.
Your former teammate Alex Johnsen has been mentioned in this. Now his name's dropped out. I think most people think that he's a pro coach and he's not interested in college coaching, but that may be an assumption made from a distance. Can you speak to his desire to coach in college versus the pros?
I think Alex really wanted the Utah job, and would have really liked to have done that. But, there was a great option in Craig Smith at the time, and so I think it didn't work out. And so, but it feels like every time the BYU job has popped open and his name has been thrown around, he just hasn't really shown much interest. I don't know unless you guys know, I don't know that he's ever gone down and interviewed for it or even had a conversation with the athletic director. And so I ran into Al a month and a half ago. I was at a Dallas Mavericks game, and he just seemed happy. Him and his wife really like it there. And I think they sort of liked the change. I don't know that things necessarily ended well in Utah with the Jazz. And so I just think they're happy where they're at. And I don't see him entertaining that job. And if he is and he's down there interviewing, he's not telling any of us. So that would be a surprise to me.
Yeah, it does seem like he's very, very comfortable there. You played at the college level and you played at the pro level. How much difference is there between coaching at the college level versus coaching at the pro level?
Well, when I played and there wasn't this NIL stuff and we weren't giving these kids millions of dollars, it was extremely different, night and day different. I went from watching college coaches, you look at them wrong, say something wrong, and they could sit you, bench you. Majerus, wanted nothing to do with you. And so you absolutely obeyed every command they had. on the basketball court, what they wanted from you in the classroom, or you were shooting yourself in the foot. Then I went to the NBA and I watched a teammate of mine in Tracy McGrady walk off the basketball court because he didn't like the way the head coach was talking to him, and he sat on the sideline and put his head down, and then he started the very next night. It was all about. I mean, it was just different. The players. I mean, and I think not every NBA team was like that. I think that it was very difficult. What I'll say the difference was, it was very difficult to build a winning culture in the NBA, where in college I think it was easier to build that because the players came in with more of a hungry, humble attitude. And then when you're in the NBA, I mean, I saw it firsthand with Orlando, and then I saw it a little bit when I was with the New Orleans Hornets, players who would talk back to the coach. I watched Baron Davis walk into our very first training camp meeting. We were in a high school classroom because training camp was at a high school gym, and we saw him come in 30 minutes late out in the parking lot. We could see through the windows, and he literally just walked into the school. And I'm like in my head, like, why isn't he sprinting? When we were late for meetings, you would sprint and dang near dive through the window so that Majerus knew you were doing all you could to get from class to practice. But I watched Baron Davis just walk like the cool breeze, and then he came in, sat down. Coach didn't say a word to him. I mean, I heard everybody else murmuring that, it was messed up that he was late. But anyway, so it was different then. I think that it's not as drastic in today's world because of this whole NIL thing and the way players are treated. And then coaches, if they look at players wrong now, they'll enter the transfer portal.
Yeah.
They'll go find somewhere else, or, somebody's offered them money. And so the second they don't feel like, they get their feelings hurt, they're gone.
I heard a story on at the NFL level when Bill Belichick was Bill Parcells' defensive coordinator with the New York Giants, that Lawrence Taylor showed up 15 minutes late to a meeting. And so Belichick goes to Parcells and says, what am I going to do? Lawrence Taylor, best player, obviously, shows up 15 minutes late. How are we going to handle this? And Parcells says to Belichick, you idiot, why'd you start the meeting then without Lawrence Taylor there?
Yeah, you're kind of held at bay, right? It's weird. I'll never forget. We did an interview, or we listened to an interview with Greg Popovich, and he talked about the uniqueness of Tim Duncan, and with his superstar, allowing him to yell at him and scream at him and kind of use any kind of tone of voice he wanted with him, because then if the superstar allowed it, everybody else would follow suit, right? And it created a culture there that no one was better than the other person. And I never got to see that. I spent a small amount of time with the Indiana Pacers, and I felt like that Reggie Miller was he was respectable and wanted to be coached, and he had a good relationship with Rick Carlisle. But yeah, I mean, listen, man, everyone, if you know me, and people do know this about me, I'm happy for all these young players getting this money. Good for them, but I don't think it's going to help them. I think it's ruined college sports. I think it's ruined the pure essence of players going to universities because they're loyal to them. I mean, I just saw Colin Chandler's leaving to Kentucky. I mean, of course they threw him an enormous NIL deal, is what I'm assuming. I mean, when was the last time you heard of players coming back from their church missions and two teams are sitting in the Big 12, great programs, great opportunities, and then boom, just like that, you're gone. So everyone's chasing the money now, and I feel bad if that's not the reasons Colin did that, because I really do like him and his father. They're good people. But I'm not a fan of it. I put on the spot the other day in a panel down here at Utah Tech University. Someone asked me, what do you think of this NIL stuff in sort of a big group? And I probably wasn't the right person to ask, because I don't like it. I absolutely think it has ruined college sports.
Britton, we appreciate it as always.
Well, it's been wonderful to talk with you guys. I'm so glad I got to do this.
And you can tell your daughter that he didn't sing.
Yeah, are you still doing that stuff, PK? You
Hold
singing?
me now.
Wow.
Oh, warm my heart.
Listen
stay
to that.
with me. Oh, won't you stay with me?
Okay, I'd rather. Okay.
Child mine.
DJ, I changed my mind. I'd rather go to cheer camp than listen to that.
Nice.
Woo-hoo. You know I've been a real bad girl.
Yes. Oh, wow. Man, DJ, hey, we're all praying for you, man. Still.
Thank you. I can use all the help I can get.
All right, guys.
All right, thanks, Britton. There's Britton Johnsen, former Ute. That's some of the guys who've been linked to the vacant BYU job. You're texting with people this morning, or at least trying to, PK.
Right now.
You got any update? You got any update, or should we do that on the other side?
I can tell you something about
we'll do that next.
Chandler.
All right, we'll do that next. Stay with us.
The NHL is coming to Salt Lake City.
It's about time.
I have been waiting decades.
This is huge news.
As Utah prepares to welcome the National Hockey League.
This city has long deserved a second pro squad.
The Zone will have all the coverage from every angle as we'll be with the new team every step of the way. From every moment of the offseason right up to when the puck hits the ice in the fall.
A new era in Utah sports.
Your home for the best coverage of the NHL in Utah is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ PK brought to you in part by Spa Trouvé. Join Hans and Scotty Friday at Spa Trouvé in Highland, located at 5455 West, 11,000 North, 110 North. Stop in and say hi. It's Hans and Scotty. We'll be broadcasting live from noon to 3 p.m. All right, you're texting with people. You got a little update. The BYU basketball situation. Fluid. Who will be the next head coach?
Oh, Tommy's crying.
Who will be on the roster? He says, ignoring PK crying.
No, this makes sense.
Okay.
So yesterday.
It's all going to tie together here, people. Hold on. Here it comes.
Yesterday I got a text about 6 o'clock. There's frustration in the office about something. I don't know what it was. But I know Tom seemed pissed. And the upsettedness is calling. Now we find out.
Now we find out.
It's Colin Chandler.
Tom was upset that the former coach took the high-profile recruit away from BYU and got him a spot in Kentucky.
Yeah. Rupp Arena. What are you going to do, man?
I just got this. This is from from BYU fans. So let me get this straight. You spent 2 years of your life convincing other people to leave everything they've ever known and had in their lives to join your church, to make a commitment, a promise, and stick with that commitment forever. And then when the first thing you do when you get home is change your own promise and commitment you made to the very institution sponsored by the church you just represented. Now I understand.
I don't know that he's even home. Is he?
He is not. He's still got a few weeks left.
Right.
Well,
I was
that
told
detail in a reply.
I was told he was getting this out of the way because he wanted to be able to focus on the final run of a few weeks of his mission.
It's the fourth quarter, man.
Yeah.
Make one last push.
Finish strong. Sprint to the finish.
Where is he? Do we know?
I want to say England.
England?
And the finish line is now in Lexington.
Oh, man. I've never trusted anybody from England.
My relatives would be from England, in case you're not following along.
It's outside of there's a couple of guys, 4 of them that I trusted,
but not Pete Best.
Yeah, they the most overrated band ever, despite what all the records say.
Colin Chandler serving in the London, England mission.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, it's a blow, man, but yeah. I like it.
But didn't we just see this with Utah State now? In this era, players come and players go.
Sure, but it's a blow in the.
It is. I totally get that. I totally get that.
One of your own.
He's a top 50 recruit in the country.
You celebrated, and he doesn't bounce one ball for you.
One service has him at 33, and BYU doesn't get guys like that very often, and they thought they had him. So I totally get that.
And didn't Sean Bradley do it too? If he's doing it for the cash, Sean Bradley did it for the cash.
Bradley played a year, went on mission, and they were changing the rules with the draft, so he literally just entered the draft.
Right.
The salary cap was about to kick in on the rookies.
So he was
and he
trying to
made
be
the
a
right
rookie.
decision.
Yeah, exactly.
There's going to be
cashed in.
There's going to be a rookie wage scale, so he turned pro and got $44 million.
Ooh, good call, Sean.
Yeah, right.
I like that BYU's being crapped on. And what I mean by that, not that I'm crapping on BYU, is, man, whoever gets this gig, and Tom Homo and Santiago, man, they just as soon rip your face off. Santiago, it's spending 2 minutes with him. Tom's a little more lower key, but they still want to win badly.
You don't have to be around either one of those guys very long to figure that out.
And like, okay, man, let's go show them. Get guys in here. I would think now this would rally the collective, and I know Tom put out a video on it, get more cash available for this. If that's the way you want to play, okay.
That is the way it is played. There's no, whether you want to or not.
But this is a kick in the boys, man.
Yep. But whether you want to or not, that is now the most important thing.
Right, but it still rallies you.
You still have to build relationships. Oh, if this doesn't explain to boosters exactly what moves the needle, then it's not going to get explained.
Right. And so everybody's crapping on them right now. Let's not just totally count them out.
DJ PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. When we come back, Mark Durant, BYU basketball radio analyst, joins us. Stay with us.